the worst year for a lot of us for our mental as well as physical health. So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach, and fitness expert, Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance. This is your chance where I sit down with today's top experts in business, mindset, wellness, and success to help you master disruption and thrive.
Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon.
He's the founder of Spearpoint Solutions. His professional background includes over 3 decades of experience in sales, leadership, and training, combined with creative thinking. He uses that to experience and develop business strategies that help organizations increase sales, reduce customer acquisition cost. Additionally, he and his team of certified facilitators train organizations and methods on purposeful, creative thinking that are crucial to thriving in this crazy modern economy. He's the inventor of the creative thinking game, What's the Big Idea? Author of the books Discovering Your Greatness, 101 Freaking Brilliant Business Ideas. Welcome to the podcast, Bob Sager.
I am really excited to be on with you, Lisa.
Bob, I am so excited too. I know we connected on LinkedIn. I've been following you for a few years now, and I love how you encourage people to think outside of the box where there is no box at all. So why don't we jump into it with creative thinking, and how can we succeed with creative thinking now to stand out from all the noise?
Well, look, I think the biggest thing is this. We have to get out of our habitual ways of thinking.
Yeah.
That, people are creatures of habit. Think about this. Once you learn how to do something, biologically, you move that to your subconscious mind because
Right.
conscious thought burns calories. So the fewer calories you can burn, the more likely you are to survive, right? And so once you learn how to accomplish a task or solve a problem in a way that you don't die,
Right.
your body, your system automatically makes that a subconscious activity from then on. I mean, think about this. When's the last time you thought about how to tie your shoes?
I
You
think
don't
about
think
it,
about
only because I hate doing that. I'd rather have the slip-on ones. But you're right.
right?
It's just
Here's
the unconscious competence.
Yes, and that's exactly right. And think about this. Here's another good example. If somebody drives a particular route all the time, they can literally start driving, arrive at their destination, and look up and go, how did I even get here? Right?
I've done
Like
that.
you don't have to consciously think about it because your subconscious mind takes over and does it for you. So barring some sort of emergency in the roadway, you don't think about it. Well, when people are thinking about solving problems, it's the same thing. And at least the way I like to equate it is, it's like driving 100 miles an hour on a circular freeway. You think you're thinking about how to solve these problems. You're thinking hard about it, but you end up right back in the exact same place that you started because your thinking has become an autopilot, right?
Right.
And so the purposeful creative thinking methods that we teach help people to disengage that autopilot. They help them to take an off ramp off that circular freeway and go explore new territory that they never would have done if they hadn't been engaged in that sort of a process.
I love that in so many ways because I've attended one of your workshops and it was just so fun coming up with creative business ideas. There was like some words and then we had to combine them for these like crazy stuff. And it was like, oh my gosh, these are viable business ideas. And I've been there in autopilot, and what I feel has happened in the last 4 years is we've all been traumatized. No one ever thought we would be having this global pandemic, a war, riots. I mean, one thing after another. So I feel like that fear, fight or flight thinking is what gets in our way, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. Fear is a very, very strong motivator. And people say, well, fear isn't real, but it is real. Fear is real. And look, a lot of the things that we're afraid of, there are things that you should be afraid of, right? But there are a lot of things that we're afraid of that, in essence, they're paper tigers. And so, but in order to break through that, you really need to be put into a situation that's safe, right? Not just physically safe, but emotionally safe. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that, when we go in and we're doing either a 1 day workshop or we do ongoing training with companies, what we do is we let them know right at the beginning, any idea is acceptable, right? In fact, one of the methods that we teach is come up with bad ideas, right? And one of the reasons that by the way, that's one of the favorite workshops that we do with people. And one of the reasons is there's no pressure, right? You're supposed to be coming up with dumb ideas. So it's like the fear of judgment, which is a big roadblock. The fear of judgment is totally gone. But people get laughing like crazy at the bad ideas that they come up with. But here's why we do it. It's not to come up with bad ideas. It's to find almost always in a set of 10 bad ideas, there's a gem in there, right? That if you tweak that bad idea just a little bit, it's all of a sudden, ooh, that's actually a pretty good idea.
I love that. I mean, like I said in the beginning, it's like not just thinking outside the box, but there is no box. And I know that, okay, so we all are basically in this fear-based mentality of like, it's always been done this way, we got to do it that way. And you want to go into somebody like the most creative marketers in the world that will remember to this day were always the people that came up with these shocking ideas and unusual ideas. So what tips can you help our audience with on how to spark that creativity to stand out in the crowd?
Well, I'm going to share with the listeners here and the viewers, if you're watching on video, I'm going to share with them a method that they can use that is so simple. It's almost deceptively simple, but it will really take your creative juices, get them flowing. It'll help you to think in new ways. And this method is called anchor term. You referenced a little bit of that before, Lisa, because I know you were attended one of our events. And by the way, I was so impressed with a couple of the ideas that you came up with there.
Thank
But
you.
anchor term, the way that works is you take a problem that you're looking to solve or something within your business or your job that you're looking to enhance. And I'll give you an example just from an event I did earlier today. I worked with a gentleman who he was a guest on our LinkedIn Live earlier today, and he runs a company that does design and marketing. And so the anchor term that we used was design services marketing. And what we did is we mixed that with 10 random words. Now, the creative thinking game that I invented, what's the big idea? It makes it easy to do, right? Because there are 400 different word cards in there. So to do this exercise, we just drew 10 random words out of the game. Okay. But even if you don't own a copy of the game, you can look around where you are and say, what are the first 10 items I see? And by the way, it's important to not eliminate, right? Like if I'm looking around the room where I am, I see a lamp, I see a computer, I see a clock, I see a hat, right? And so take whatever problem you're looking to solve, combine it with each of those 10 words. And for our example that I was talking about, this gentleman that owns the company that does design services, his word was home, HOME. And the
Great.
concept he came up with, I mean, it just blew my mind. The complexity And the full nature of the idea that he came up with, just combining design, services, marketing with home. And I combined it with garden. And so, and the ideas that I came up with. Now, the magic in that is this: if you're doing it in a group, you can
Yeah.
have the same, you can have the same set of words. You could even pick the same word that you're combining with your anchor term, and it'll be a completely different idea.
Yeah.
Because your background, Lisa, my background, three other people in a room with us, we all have a unique life experience. And so our knowledge and experience is completely different. So we can look at that and come up with something completely different. And and by the way, if the people who are watching this, if they want a brief synopsis of how this anchor term works, I'm happy to send that to them. All they got to do is reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to send it to them, no charge.
Great, Bob Sager. That's amazing. Well, so the anchor term is so exciting. I remember being in that exercise and there was something kind of like crazy, like jeans and pizza or something crazy like that, like unrelated terms. And I love the way you guys came up with designing home and gardens because those are amazing things all together that I feel I'm passionate about too. So, what about 101 freaking brilliant ideas besides just the design thinking? Do you have some other secrets for our audience on freaking brilliant? The name of your newsletter on LinkedIn, correct?
Right. It is. Yeah. Freaking brilliant ideas. And so, yeah, so I have three books. The first one is actually a personal achievement book called Discovering Your Greatness. These are all available on Amazon. My second book, which was published, hard to believe, 5 years ago, 101 Freaking Brilliant Business Ideas. And then my most recent one, which I'm going to let your viewers in on a secret. It's called More Freaking Brilliant Ideas. And the subtitle is Helping You Thrive in the Age of easy for me to say, Helping You Thrive in the Age of Artificial Intelligence. Now, despite the subtitle, it doesn't have anything to do with learning artificial intelligence, but it does have to do with thriving in a world where that's a reality, because it's going to really help you think in a lot more creative ways. And so there are a bunch of different ideas and methodologies that you can use in there. The
Wow.
secret that I was going to let your viewers in on is that we have a no charge PDF version of that book. They can go buy it on Amazon if they want, but if they want a no charge copy, and we have sponsors in there that allow us to give it away for free, okay? Which we think you ought to support them, but that's up to you. But they can have that at no charge. So there's no excuse, right?
Right.
You referenced the 101 book. One of the methods that we teach is it's called as a service, and so take everything that you sell as a product and combine that with as a service, and develop ideas for how you can offer that as as a service. There's a lot of different ways to go about that, right? Like a lot of people don't think about this, but Uber and Lyft, that's a service, right?
Right.
Car rides as a service. Well, one of the ideas that's in the 101 book is called pizza as a service. And, and
I like it.
I encourage people to read all about that. It's a subscription for pizza. And what it does, it allows people to go to the front of the queue for delivery times. Typically, they're going to use it on Friday night. They get bonuses because they're a subscriber. They even get little extras that are given away through a co-marketing agreement with some other companies that want to. There's valuable real estate on pizza boxes, right? So why not have other companies advertising on there and give your subscribers a bonus from those companies, probably promotional items that they were going to give away anyway, right?
Oh, freaking brilliant. Pizza
It
as a
Yeah,
service and
pizza
Bob
as a
Sager,
service.
anything as a service. is freaking brilliant. I would expect nothing less from you. Let me switch over to another topic that I'm passionate about. How can we crush it in sales with all your freaking brilliant skills you have here?
Well, listen, I think the big thing in sales today is, a collaborator of mine is Chad Johnson. He and I co-host the LinkedIn Live on. We do a Wednesday lunch and learn every week, and something that Chad said is very brilliant. He said that content is the new cold call, and I completely agree with him. Think
Right.
about this: 100% of customers are people, right? And that's
100%.
true.
Yeah.
That's true whether you're selling to customer individuals or businesses, right? So, and Chad's got some great stats on this, but business to business people, when they're thinking they might have a need to make a change in whatever or to implement some program, where's the first place they go? Online, right?
Online. Everything is
And
like the researching online.
yes, exactly. And so if you have decent content, that's now searchable. When I go on and do a Google search for whatever I'm looking for, content that you publish online is now searchable, and it will come up. Like my LinkedIn newsletter often comes up when people are thinking about creativity. So even they might not even be subscribed to the newsletter or following me, but when they search for creativity or innovation or better ideas, something like that, they'll find it on the first page of Google, right? So that, I think, if you want to increase sales better than anything, you need to publish good content on LinkedIn, right?
Right.
And by the way, I consume a lot of content on LinkedIn. There's a lot of what I call platitudes on LinkedIn,
Yeah. Reposting
right?
other quotes from other people, not creative,
Exactly.
right?
Yes, I mean, if I've seen one, I've seen 100,000 leadership is important posts. Well, gee, no kidding, right?
Yeah.
You know, tell me a story about leadership, right?
Yeah.
Stories are what sell, right? Even bullet points people get bored with, right?
Yeah.
But stories, if you can effectively tell a story, you give people imagery that sticks in their mind. And if it's told well and has a little bit of an emotional component, then they not only remember it, they remember how they felt when they were reading it. So I think more than anything, that's important in terms of content. Um,
For
the other
sales.
thing that I,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's your
yes,
new calling card is your content. I love that freaking brilliant idea.
and think about this. There's a tried and true business axiom that people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And
Right.
so through that content and your LinkedIn profile in combination, right? People begin to get to know you. They begin to get a sense of, does this person have credibility, right? So at least the beginnings of trust. So a lot of times when you get on a phone call or a Zoom call with somebody, you're 80% of the way to a sale. What they're getting on a phone or a Zoom call with is not to get a pitch from you. They're trying to confirm in their mind that you match your content, right?
Wow. I love that spin on sales because it's a spam fest out there. I mean, let's be honest. I can't even tell you how offensive it is to me, although I am in business and I have empathy for spammy people that are pitch slapping me in the DMs all the time on LinkedIn, but it's like they have no skills on relationship building. I mean, isn't sales a relationship?
Absolutely, right? That's the third factor, right? The like factor. Well, I'm not going to like you if you just annoy me all the time,
Right.
right?
Buy
And
my
you annoy
stuff. I can
and you
I can pack your calendar. I can give you 10 clients. I can make you millions. I mean, where did these
right.
people all go to like spam school together?
It surely seems that way. And listen, as the decision maker with my company, I mean, I get friggin' bombarded with DMs on LinkedIn, and of course, my email address is on a million lists somewhere. Now, I have learned to look at that in a little bit more positive light. And
Good.
I,
Shed the
what I,
light. Shed the light on my crappy attitude
okay.
here, because I
So
know I
here,
need to be empathetic about them.
so here's how I'm viewing it. The more of those sorts of things that I get, that is evidence to me that people are aware of both me, our company, the work we're doing.
Yeah.
So the more of those I get, I go, yes, we're visible, right?
Impact. You're making an impact.
100%, yeah.
Well, I never talk to you about freaking brilliant ideas all day long, but I started this podcast over about like right during the pandemic. It's been almost 4 years. And I want to help people be unstoppable in sales, in creative thinking. What is the last word you have for our audience on advice on how to be unstoppable in these disruptive times?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. This is 2024. So people need to stop acting like it's 1994, right? The same things that worked in 1994 will not work 30 years later. I mean,
Right.
think about this. Imagine you're alive. I was alive in the 1980s, right? And I was an adult in the
Me too.
1980s.
I was alive.
Imagine back in the 1980s if we had been acting like it was the 1950s still. That's the same kind
Hell
of thing,
no.
right?
Yeah.
So listen, you've got to develop, and if you're a business owner, you've got to develop in your people the skill sets that they need to thrive in the 21st century. And to me, the three of the absolute musts are purposeful creative thinking. I know that sounds a little bit self-serving, but it's true. 21st century selling skills, right? And emotional intelligence. And
Right.
if you do not have those three things and you try to take an approach like the world is the exact same as it was, even I say 30 years ago, but really even before COVID, right?
Right.
If you're
Totally
trying,
different now.
if you're trying to act like things are exactly the same as they were then, you're going to fail. I mean, I don't mean to sound cold and hard, but it's true.
And nobody wants to fail. That is freaking brilliant. And where can people get a hold of you, get the PDF, get your book? And I know obviously we're connected on LinkedIn, so let's have all that.
So people can probably the best way to reach me is LinkedIn. You're probably more likely to not have your message go to spam if you reach out to me there, because a lot of the sales pitches, even people that I don't know, contact me via email, and it gets sent to my spam folder. Now I check that regularly so I don't miss anything important, but you know, there's a lot of Nigerian princes wanting to give me millions. But
Exactly.
LinkedIn.com/in/Bob Sager, BOBSAGER. That's probably the best way. They can subscribe to my newsletter on there if they want to. That's freaking brilliant. Freaking brilliant ideas is the title of the newsletter. So, those are the best ways. If people DM me on LinkedIn and say, "Hey, I saw you on Lisa's show. I would love to have a no charge copy of your PDF copy of your latest book." I'm happy to send them one.
Well, thanks for a freaking brilliant interview. Bob Sager on LinkedIn.